How's everybody doing?
What's happening? How's everyone doing? Gray, what is happening, man? You're still here.
Believe
Well,
it or not, I'm still here, man.
I thought that maybe that the people in the path of that eclipse would have probably disappeared, and you would only see like clothes on the road. You know what I mean?
That would
Like
have been
left behind.
interesting,
I think
though.
it was. That would have
Yeah,
been really cool.
yeah, that would have been interesting, man. It's funny. I was gonna title this video like "We're Still Here," but I didn't want to like hurt some of the people's feelings out there. You know what I mean? Like, I think I got one here. And folks, this is not. I'm not picking on anybody. You know what I mean? Where's that at? I wonder if I could add this
No,
to the
but
stage.
you know what, Gray? Like there is something to talk about with this eclipse. There's definitely stuff to talk about because I forgot which video it was that I put out this weekend, but I talked about, I think it was Michael Snyder from SHTF Plan. He was talking about that. Yeah, maybe nothing is going to happen today because of the eclipse. But what people are maybe not taking into consideration are all of the things that have happened or that the eclipse that's come about with the eclipse, like all of the cities that is passing that are named Nivea, I believe his name, that is doing like a perfect cross, and where the cross intersects is right at the location of that 111-foot tall cross. So there's a lot of coincidences going on, that's surrounding this eclipse. So there's a lot to talk about, and like a coincidence can be a coincidence, but 15 coincidences, come on now. How many do you need?
It's and I'm going to get into that too because there's certain things like that. But I wish I would have. No, I don't wish. It's like I was looking at this one. It's like 3.3 million views, 172,000, 40,000. You know what I mean? Like 82,000. Views, and like I said, nothing towards these people or anything like that. But my biggest issue is when folks are trying to scare people and freaking them out, and it creates this sense of unease with a lot of folks out there, be it in the religious sect of folks or people that are just scared in general because it's a constant bombardment of fear. And you and I have both said this, man. No matter what happens in the world, as long as you're prepared to an extent, right, you can get through most things. You know what I mean? That's the key underlying message that we like to tell our viewers is don't live in fear, just be prepared. Maybe that's a nice little quote to put there, and I agree with you. I did watch that video. I watched 2 of your videos that were very, very good, at least from my perspective. The one that you said 50 years of prophecies and the one that you're talking about, both of those were really good. On breaking down certain things, that how many times that world's going to end, be it through climate change or mass, media or government organizations, or, just people here on YouTube, some folks, every video is you're going to die and it's going to be tomorrow. I rather pass information along that can help people get prepared for those situations as well as you. But your videos were very informative because you're absolutely right. I mean, I know you remember the Y2K bug. I know you remember there's been crashes, the housing market crash. There's been a lot of things that have happened in the United States since its inception. And like I said, we're still here. So what I'm saying is it's not saying that nothing will ever happen. It will happen. We just don't know when.
Things happen every single day. It's I mentioned this. I'm not sure if it wasn't a live stream, but I mentioned this sometime or another. I said that 99% of people that use their preps is for regular stuff. Is for hey, we lost our job, we couldn't find work for 6 months, so we lived off our preps. They use their preps for regular things. Is not for real, systemic crises, like something that affects the entire country, and things like that. So that's what preps are for mainly. There's somewhat of a romanticized version of you being able to use your preps to survive the end of the world as we know it, right? Like that movie The Road, right? But like I said, that's mainly in the movies. If that ever happens, it's going to be terrible. But I would still say that those people that have the higher likelihood of surviving would be people that were prepared, even in a situation like that. But for a situation like that to happen, we've been told time and time again over the last several decades that we would be facing a catastrophic situation more so by your political pundits and the mainstream media than people like us here on social media, just telling people, hey, get prepared for anything. Yes, something really bad could happen, but more than likely, it's not going to happen the way that we've been told, more so, like I said, by our political pundits. Because if you take a look at most of the fear mongering that goes up, it's always by someone that has something to gain via through politics or via through the news media, which are owned by those people within politics themselves.
Absolutely. I want to share a story with you, Rudy, as well as the viewers that are watching us this evening. So my son, my oldest son, was coming from Texas. This just happened last week. My oldest son is coming from Texas, coming back to where I live here in Florida.
Nice.
And yeah, he's doing a great job. He's making some decent money. He's
Is he
getting things.
moving his homestead to where you live in Florida, or like visiting?
So he hasn't made it. So he's still working. He works in the solar industry, right?
Oh,
Um,
nice.
and he went over to Texas because that was where things were. His business sent him, and
Yeah.
that's where he was making the most amount of money for himself in there. And then he was coming back just to kind of hang out over here on this side of things because he wants to start a business over here and do some stuff with the money that he's been putting away to kind of keep things flowing. You know what I mean? So he was driving in a truck that he just bought up, about a month or so back. And around midnight, there was a semi on the highway that pushed him off the road. He tried to correct. It made his vehicle go into the ravine on the side of the highway. And this was around midnight, and flipped his vehicle 3 or 4
And
times.
he's all right, right?
Yeah,
He's
he is all
right.
right. Yeah, he's
Okay.
all right. Thank God. Thank you, Rainy Step, for the super chat. We appreciate that. And here's the crazy thing about it, brother. I said, what happened after that? After the accident, I said, did the semi stop? He's like, no. I said, did a bystander stop? He said, no. I said, well, what happened? He said, I waited a half hour before anyone stopped to ask if I was okay. And that was a scary fact that's society today. If my daughter was trying to ask me the same question, she's like, well, maybe no one saw him. I'm like, have you driven down the highway? You can see a turned over vehicle in the highway. When an accident happens, they pull the traffic away. They move the vehicle. It's not something that's going to stay there. And she was like, oh. And I said, so ask my son, did you have any type of medical gear in your vehicle? He's like, no. I said, did you have at least a seatbelt cutter or a knife in your vehicle? He said, no. And I said, did you have any other alternate forms of communication or any type of survival equipment in general in your vehicle? He said, no. So then we got into that conversation, which I was like, all right, you're okay, right? You're not, anything's broken, anything, no lacerations. He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm just a little hurt. And I said, so here's the reason why I do what I do. Here's the reason why I carry different forms of communication in my vehicle, because his phone was thrown from the vehicle, lost in the woods somewhere. Why I carry tourniquets and med kits, because I said, son, if something would have happened where you had a bad laceration where you're bleeding out, 30 minutes, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
And I went into my spiel about medical preparedness and why your vehicle has to be an extension of your home and stuff like that. And he took that to heart, and he's like, all right, Dad, show me how I can, because he wants to buy another vehicle, another truck. He said, show me what I need in case a situation like this arises. But it was a wake up moment, because you know what he told me, Rudy? He said, I never thought it would happen to me.
Yeah. That's how it always is. You know what I like about Fairbanks, Alaska? That a couple of years ago, I lost control of my vehicle. It was around this time when the roads start clearing off, and then it snows, and then there's a sheet of ice that you can't see. I still had on my winter studded tires on my Suburban. I'm 4x4. I'm taking a corner, and I drive slow. I'm never in a hurry. So even though the speed limit on that road was like 50 miles an hour, I was probably running around 35, 37 miles an hour. I take a corner, I hit some black ice, and I was off the road. And probably within a 1 hour time span, I had about 40. I remember counting the first hour. I had about 47 people stop and ask me, are you all right? So that's one thing that gives me hope about the community in this surrounding area in case something ever happened where we had to work together.
Absolutely. And thank you guys for your comments. Truly appreciate that. Where is Yarn Prepper? I saw her. Exactly, Yarn. And that, like I said, luckily I think someone had just said it, that it did turn into a teaching moment for him, because when I have
Yeah.
conversations with people, they always say, it'll never happen in America, it'll never happen in my city, it never happen in my town, it'll just never happen to me, folks. You just never know. You can wake up that next day and the lights could be off for good for several years. You just don't know what
Well,
could
I think that's
happen.
going to happen, Gray. That's going to eventually happen.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Eventually, we will lose grid power for a very, very long time. So, you know what? That's one thing that I would say. A lot of people ask me, what should I prepare for? And some people are like, I'm prepping for an economic collapse. I'm prepping for the Madrid, fault line, earthquake. One thing that I can say for sure is that you should prepare for a long-term power outage situation. Long-term
Absolutely.
meaning year or years, because the cycle tells us, and the technology by which we live today tells me that that's going to happen eventually. Because what's happened is that between Congress, between the Department of Energy, between the Department of Homeland Security, and between the power companies, they keep throwing the hot potato as to who should pay for our electric grid to get to become a EMP or coronal mass ejection, what do you call it? Protected from EMP or coronal mass ejection. So they've just been passing that hot potato along for many years now, and no one's really done anything about it. So I would say, if you were to ask me, what should I prepare for? I would say for a lights out situation that's going to last a very long time. And with that, pretty much all of the same preps that you would get for anything else. I would say probably, besides like power generation for long term, and a way to do power generation for long term, is pretty much the same way that you would prep for anything else. You're still going to need food. You're still going to need water, water purification, a way to grow food when you run out of food, shelter, heat, medicine, self-defense, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Still going to need all those things. But I would say that that's what I would say that we should prepare for sure, because that's for sure going to happen. I think it'll happen in my lifetime. But then again, we can never really put a date on these things, because it's a 150-year cycle, and it's been about 115 years since it last happened. So you just never know exactly when it's gonna hit, but it will hit eventually.
No, I agree too, man. There's a few things that I'm working on, made me think of, I've never done a video on vehicle preparedness specifically, like my vehicle. It also made me think of what you're talking about. I was like, and you had said this in your video. It's funny that you had said this in your video, because it's a spot that I'm lacking as well. Faraday cages,
Yeah.
EMPing, proofing certain things and stuff like that. And I spent probably a couple days ago, like hours researching EMP ways to, sure up things, because what's good as a power station or, other gadgets that we have for emergency preparedness,
Yep.
if we don't have a way to shield them or protect them, so that when the emergency presents itself, we have a way to use them.
Yeah.
And come to find out, there's some affordable ways to do
Yep.
this. I figured, there's videos out there doing it, but I figured I would go kind of show my own journey
Yeah.
in that
Absolutely.
process. And so that's something that I'm going to probably bring into the fold this year in regards to shoring up things, in regards to EMP or coronal mass ejections and stuff like that. Because I
Gray.
do,
No, go ahead. Finish up. I thought you were
no, I
finishing.
said I just do believe that that's one of the bigger threats that we face,
Yeah,
because
I did too.
when, like how we were just talking about channels. So I watch Suspicious Observers, right? And I think you
Mhm.
do as well. And I download their app and I just follow them because they're full of good information. And about a week or so ago, he had put out a video. The sun is doing some weird stuff. Earthquakes incoming, right? And 3 days later, after that video, New York gets hit by two quakes, or a quake and,
Yeah,
and an
isn't that
aftershock or something
something?
like that.
New
And I was like,
Jersey too, I believe. It was same area, New York, New
yeah,
Jersey.
and he was spot on. So he's not a type of channel to scare you to death. He's just trying to give you the information or the
Yep.
tools necessary to be informed and to, hey, be prepared. Something's going to happen. And it does. Like, he has a good track record.
Yeah, and you know what I was thinking about EMPs or coronal mass ejections the other day, Faraday cages. I didn't put this into the video because sometimes I just can't explain things very well, and it sounds like I'm crazy. But I was thinking to myself, let's say we did have a coronal mass ejection, you know, like the Carrington event from that happened back in 1859. I think it was in
Hmm.
September or August 1859. Let's say we did have something like that, and let's say that, you know, we were prepped really good. You know, we have Faraday cages for all our solar generators and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, well, what percentage of the population has that? What percentage of the population would be able to salvage all of their, you know, technology with Faraday cages and all that kind of stuff, right? And then
Hmm.
I came to think probably very small. I'm like, so what are you going to do, AP, with all your solar generators that are protected? What are you going to power? You
Yeah,
know
good
what I
point.
mean? Like what are you going to power? Like your electric grid is completely down. More than likely, the wiring within your home is also damaged to the extent where you probably can't use it anymore. If you're lucky, your house didn't burn down and stuff like that. And what are you going to do? You're going to power a fridge, maybe? Did your fridge survive? Do you have your fridge EMP proof? Although a fridge, if anything was going to survive, I would say a refrigerator or a freezer and a microwave would probably survive because most of those are metal all the way around except for the gaskets. So yeah, I was just thinking out loud there. I was like, what are you going to power? You know, when if this ever happens, but I guess we'll find out one day.
It's a good point. I wanted to bring up this. Someone had said this was a great question, and I can add to this. I'm pretty sure you can. Love is everything said. I had two dreams about suffering from radiation and hair falling out, so I bought everyone in my house body coveralls and gas masks. I wonder if I can eat while wearing a gas mask due to the risk.
You can
Um,
drink.
you can drink wearing the gas mask, but
Yeah.
in your home, so in your home, if you know how to set up your home in regards to radiation, there's ways to create a safe spot in your home through layers and boundaries, through plastic sheathing and stuff like that, so that you have a spot where you can decontaminate. Because if you're wearing the coveralls and the gas mask, is great if you're out in the environment and this radiation is falling in your area, or even the chemicals or whatever it may be. But as you pass through that, if you watch how certain movies play out, because there's always some truth to movies, they go through one room, they get rinsed off to get all that stuff off them. Then they take their clothing and stuff off in the following room, and then they finally enter their domicile where they're going to be, functioning or working or living. So there's a process to that. So you don't, when it comes to eating, if you have something like that or have the knowledge behind that to build that kind of protocol, you won't have to be wearing the gas mask. Now, if you're out in the field in that situation, it can be very complex, but you'll have to get somewhere where it's safe to consume foods. I was thinking, Rudy, when she mentioned that having the gas mask off in water, I was thinking about the electrolytes because you can survive 3 to 4 weeks without food. So
Yeah.
if you have lots of water and stuff like that, and electrolytes and just those minerals, that might be something to think about
Mhm.
as well. What would you like to add to this?
I mean, yeah, you're right. You can survive. There's just mainly what gets you is not if you survive the blast and all that kind of stuff, right?
Hmm.
The fallout is not going to be inside your home. So you're going to have to
Right.
bring it inside your home. So, like it's different for everyone what everyone would do, but like here, I don't have this system, but I want to devise somewhat of a system where I can, lug around, a few hundred gallons of water or have like a fire hose where I can, wash off my house. Have
Good
enough
point.
Visqueen available. Like I have a whole bunch of Visqueen that I just put away. Have Visqueen available, around your house so that you can spray everything off, let it dry, and then put on your suit, get that Visqueen out of there, put it in garbage bags, and get it away from you. But I mean, you know, there's just so many things, and I believe that that's a complex way. It's very complex to be able to survive that long term. I think that if
Right.
something like that happens, it's not going to be localized. Like, for example, the US won't be the only country that gets hit with an ICBM should it happen, right? So it's going to be all over the world. It's going to be in our wind screen going around the world, either in the northern part or the southern part or both, right? So I mean, there's just going to be a lot of suffering. A lot of people are going to lose their lives, and I guess the best that you can do is the best that you can do, and pray to God. And if you were chosen to stay here, then there's a reason for you to be here, and so be it. I don't think about that all that much, because there's only so much that you can do, and there's nothing you can do about it happening. If it's going to happen, it's
Right.
going to happen. But yeah, there's things like that's why I have my zero water filters that I have. I bought a whole bunch of extra filters. I bought it specifically for an event where I needed to filter radiation out of water. That's the
Smart.
reason I bought that, and I put it away for that. You know, so there's just so many things that you can do. It's like I said, what do you want to prepare for? Basically, I think that if you just prep the regular stuff, the basic stuff, then you'll be a lot better off than most people are in any kind of a crisis.
Right. It goes to the things that we talk about a lot about storing water, medical supplies, food. You know, some people say I got 2 weeks of food. I'm like, hey, that's great, but what about if there's extenuating circumstances and it lasts, 3, 6, 9, 10 months, or longer? Uh, you should continuously build that stockpile of what you have so that you don't have to leave your house. In regards to some crazy scenario like that. Um, it's
It's my wife showed me a comment that someone left behind. I'm going to paraphrase it because I don't have it in front of me. And I think
okay.
it was during my last live stream last Friday. And it was a lady that said, "Can you please help me get through to my husband?" And I want to buy food. She's saying, "I want to put away food for an emergency, etc., etc., but he just wants to buy guns and bullets." And I was like, "For real?" I'm like, I thought she was kidding, but no, you can see the sincerity in the message and the comment that she left behind.
Mhm.
And that's something that you have to think about too, is you really want to be balanced. That's why I always say buy the stuff that you already eat anyways. If you
Mhm.
want to buy freeze dry foods and stuff like that, do it after you have a pantry that you can easily rotate for things that you normally eat anyways. But don't put all your eggs in one basket, because you may be putting yourself, for this gentleman in particular, all you're buying is guns and ammo. That's it. Even though you know you need to eat, even though you know you may need some medical supplies, etc., etc., you may put yourself in a position where you would have to do something really bad in order for your family to survive. If all you have is guns and ammo, you're going to use guns and ammo as the tool that allows you to survive long term. So if you are a well-meaning person, you would want to be diversified in all of the preps that you have and have everything that you need, maybe in smaller quantities, but spread out instead of just having one or two things. I hope that
Um,
person hears this.
yeah, that's possibly watching. How long would dirt be contaminated if we had an airburst nuke? Hmm. That's kind of a.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer that with absolute certainty,
Well, I
because it
mean, I
depends
think
on how far you're away from the
yeah.
blast, like you said, and the amount of radiation that's associated with that area.
Well, also, it also depends what kind of a nuke they use. It depends what kind of use. I believe that if any warheads are used in the near future, that the first one that would be used would be tactical, which really don't have a big problem with radiation.
Hmm.
But I mean, a good thing to look at as a reference. But then again, like I said, it depends what kind of a nuke they use. Look at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I mean, that happened back in the 40s. And here we are, what, 80 years later? And
80 years later, man.
I don't know when it became fully populated, but it's been fully populated, those two cities, for a very long time now. But then again, I'm not educated enough in what types of nukes there are: fusion, fission, if it's tactical, if it has a ground burst, or if it has an air burst, all that kind of stuff. So I always thought that a ground burst would create more radioactive particulates than what an airburst would do. An airburst would be more catastrophic. It would make more damage than a ground burst would. But I always thought that a ground burst would create more radioactive particulates than an airburst would. Then again, I can't speak 100% on any of that stuff. All I know is that war brings sorrow. And when you go to war, it's for one reason and one reason alone, is because these crooked politicians that we put in office failed at their jobs. Plain and simple. They're not happy enough with just stealing our money, Gray. They have to take us to war too.
I 100% believe that. Was it Anthony Blinken that mentioned? I guess he said Ukraine will be a part of NATO. I think he said that in a conversation on the news, or was some conversation he was having. And I thought to myself, does he mean like now, like immediately? In the aspect of like while Russia's already there and doing, the war is going on, because then that would automatically bring us into the fold of World War III. Would be my assumption, right?
Well, I mean, great. That's what they want. Anyone here that doesn't think that at least this administration, right? I can't talk about the last one because the last administration under Orange Man Bad, we didn't have any new conflicts, right?
Right.
It was the only time in my life that I remember the Middle East being at peace.
Yeah.
Right. And we didn't have any new conflicts or anything like that. But under this one, man, I believe that, when you've done really, really bad things, you have to do even worse things to be able to cover them up. So I believe that there's going to be really bad things happening here in the second half of this year, because it looks like Orange Man Bad is going to come back on the scene, unless something happens towards the end of the year there where it stops, the process, where it stops the process of the of the what do you call it, of that game where they pick a new captain. It's pretty sad that we have to talk like this, but I think everyone here understands that we do. So they may have to stop the process one way or another, because the truth is coming out in too many different ways. And if they're not in control, if they're not in the head, then they're going to find themselves in a really bad way, because the people, I believe, have had enough.
Yeah, it's I was watching another, I guess Iran has spoken and said, I guess Israel hit something in Damascus over in Syria or something like that, consulate, or killed somebody, one of their main generals or something like that. I don't have the specifics in front of me. And they told the U.S., like, hey, this is our business, stay out of it. And the U.S. said, as long as you don't hit none of our assets and all this other jazz. And it's just like, it's just getting inching closer and closer. And if Iran gets fully involved into this Middle East crisis that's going on, you think gas prices are expensive now? They will skyrocket, folks. They will skyrocket.
You better be storing up your gas. One of the things that I really dislike doing every year during the non-winter months is rotating my gas, because I have a lot of it, man. I have enough gas to power my house, I don't know, for a full winter if I have to. Gasoline, I mean. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I'm putting out a video probably later on tonight or tomorrow on how much gasoline it would take for you to power your home as far as the essentials go, using a combination of a gasoline generator and a solar generator. And when you see how many gallons it takes, it's really not that much. I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, man, that's actually really cheap to be able to like if you go off grid or something like that, or if you have a bug out location or something like that, where you can get yourself a pretty good sized solar generator and a small generator, it wouldn't take that much gasoline to actually power your solar generator with a gas generator, should there be no sun available, in order to power your home. But anyways, that'll be on that video coming up. But I was pretty surprised that you can power your essentials that you need to get by during a grid down situation for such a cheap price.
That is awesome, Oki-Khan. Let me see. I love that comment right there.
Yep.
It's a crazy world. Yeah, it's a crazy world we live in, man. I was looking at in regards to predictions, you know what I mean, and kind of circling back over to your conversation. I think you might have even brought this up in one of your previous videos or live streams. Read about Nostradamus, not Nostradamus, but Nostradamus.
Yeah. I think that was during our last live stream. I think that
it?
was you and mine. I don't remember. It was a week ago, man. I forget everything after 2 days.
Me too, man. I'm getting old, brother. Some of his 2024 predictions currently are: this includes a war with China and the dethroning of King Charles.
Oh, cool. Well, I heard that King Charles is ill. I heard that he has cancer. Have you heard that? Okay, hey, Grey, I think that you are stuck. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if I'm still alive, can you give me a 1 if I am still alive? And GreyMan, if you can hear me, you are stuck. Okay, I'll give it about another minute or so. In case you're still talking, then I'll give you a call. Okay, so I'm still live. All right, thank you for that, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm guessing that Gray is trying to figure out whatever problem he may have. It may be that the eclipse took out the internet over there in Florida. Just kidding. Don't get triggered. Let's see. Okay. Hello?
Hey, I know you're on the live.
Yeah.
Some girl came to the door. She needs to push up the road.
She needs a push off the road. Where at?
Up right on Quick and Bush.
Okay.
Her husband lives in that new cabin. I just want to let you know. We're taking our guns. Me and Selena are going to go help push her out.
Okay.
If something should happen. Okay?
If you're gonna push her out, make sure that you take my truck because it's 4x4.
Okay.
Take the Suburban.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and then just let me know when you're back.
I will. Bye.
All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. My wife just called. There's someone stuck up our road here, and they're asking if we can help to push them out. So my wife's gonna take my truck and go over there and help push them out. Let's see. Okay, yes, King Charles does have cancer. Okay, that's what we were talking about him being dethroned. I think it's the last thing that Gray said. Let's see. He's undergoing treatment. Okay. Well, let's ladies and gentlemen, I don't really wish an illness or any ill will towards anyone. So I know that as soon as you say something positive towards anyone on the internet, some people may have something negative to say, but I'm just going to say, let's wish him the best and his family the best, that he recovers. I know that that's what I would like someone to say toward me, whether they like me or not, if I were ill as well. So we'll leave it at that, though. Toolmaker says Gray is sleeping. Let's see who else. All right. You can all keep this live stream going, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let me run away with it. Put in your comments and any questions you may have until we get GreyMan back, okay? Let's see. Take sand and shovels, says the 49th state. Actually, our road has already lost all the snow, so it's just dirt. All right, so she should be able to. I think she might have slid into a what do you call it? Slid to the side of the road, which goes down a little bit. And we did have snow. It was actually snowing pretty good here for the last hour or so. So she should be fine. She should be fine. And GreyMan is back. Did you pay your internet bill, Gray?
Yeah,
Minuteman
man.
wants to know.
I guess maybe I touched a nerve with the evil overlords that watch my internet connection. I don't know, man.
Well, better on your channel than mine.
Yeah, right.
Because mine is already suffering greatly from what is called the YouTube algorithm.
Absolutely, man. It's something that we all have to deal with. I know.
Right.
I was listening to you, and you said I left off at the King Charles and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to finish what I had started, and there's only a couple more. It said also he was also talking about saying goodbye to Pope Francis at the beginning, saying goodbye to according to Nostradamus, we could also be saying goodbye to Pope Francis. He also states that the beginning of a third world war, 79 years after the end of the second one, which would land in 2024. And he also predicted a large.
Did he really say that?
Yeah.
79 years. Well, the thing is I believe that we are in a world war right now.
Oh, I agree.
What I think is happening now, Gray, I think right now that countries, nations are secretly picking sides.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I think. I think they're getting their chest, and it's not something that I'm excited about or that I want to happen, because this next world war, according to Charles Nenner, who is a cycles analyst, a very good one, is going to be very, very tragic. There's going to be in the billions, not millions, in the billions of casualties in this next world war, which leads me to think that maybe there will be nuclear warheads used in this next world war, but we don't know that until it happens, and there's nothing that we can do about it. That's what you don't hear me talk about this too often, because there's nothing that we can do about it. So continue to live your lives and continue to prepare and continue to stay prepared. That's all that you can really do about it, unless there is a way that you can have influence upon our crooked politicians that take us to war but never go to war. I digress.
No, you're good, brother, and that's a good perspective. That's how I look at it as well. The last thing that I have on here, I just took some of them because I didn't want to be here all night with it. But a large environmental disaster. Writing at the time, the dry earth will grow more parched, and there will be a great flood when it is seen. However, that you want to, decipher that. But those are just some of the things that he has been predicting for this year in 2024.
Just a second.
Oh, you're fine. I heard you had
my wife's just telling me my wife had to go and help someone that got stuck.
I appreciate that, Passant Herbs. It's funny that we're talking about having the proper gear in your vehicle. You see, Miss P says the Bible says it will be nuclear.
Yeah. And you know what? That thing about big floods, it reminds me about Suspicious Observer and the story about Adam and Eve, which is such a scary story that I think I've shared it once on this channel and haven't again, because again, this was years ago that I shared that story. And the first place that I heard it was not in Suspicious Observer. It was over at Diamond I always forget the name of his darn YouTube channel. His name is Diamond Oppenheimer Ranch Project. That's the name of the YouTube channel. First time I heard it was there. And it's one of those things that I realized that there's absolutely nothing that we can do about that. Nothing whatsoever. That if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I believe it. I believe it because I believe in cycles, and it's just the ending of a civilization. And it happens about every 6,000 years or so. And we're pretty much coming up on that time frame. And again, if it happens, it happens. You better be good with your maker. And if it doesn't happen, then you just continue to live your best life. So, but we'll see. It'll be pretty interesting if it does happen, especially for people that know about it, right? Because like when it's happening, you'll know that it's happening. So you'll be like, okay, this is it, But if you don't know about it, you're going to be like, what in the world is going on? Do you know what I'm talking about, Grey? About the Adam and Eve story that the CIA kept classified for so many years, etc.
Yeah, it's interesting when you go down that rabbit hole, brother. I find myself each week finding another rabbit hole to climb into and bury myself in. But my perspective on it is I just like to be informed on everything. My business partner is he watches a channel. Have you ever heard of Pastor Jack Hibbs? Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, you can't hear me. Okay. Because you saw the chat. Anyways,
all right, so Grey, check it out, ladies and gentlemen. This is who I am. It's going to be who I am always. I'm not going to change for anyone. I was just trying to be funny there. And it would have been really funny if I would have just not said anything for the entire of the video and acted like an idiot, just sitting here and not saying anything. If you don't appreciate what we do here because I talk too much, then go away. That's all there's to it. Okay. And that's it. I actually thought I was doing really good. I'm like, man, we're having a pretty good conversation today. And Grey is getting in his time and he hasn't drank 2 cups of coffee yet. What are you at, Grey? About a half a cup today?
I'm only only half. Yeah.
He's only drank a half a cup coffee, and where we at? 40 minutes. Come on, give me a break, man. All right, go ahead. I had to do the rant.
No, you're fine. I trust me. We all get all these different. We all get interesting comments on the different channel, different things that we do. I get obliterated sometimes in the way I pronounce words. Some of the things that I say repetitively. If I don't like spam, or if I like spam, half the comments will be like, "Why don't you like spam?" The other half of comments will be like, "Oh, spam is going to kill you because of the salt." It's just the way life is. But like I said, my business partner, Jack Hibbs just put out a book, and it was very interesting. It's for folks who want to learn about the rapture and stuff like that. But he has a YouTube channel. He's very informative. He doesn't look at things like when the whole thing with the April 8th and the eclipse thing, he didn't go that direction. He wasn't telling everybody you're all going to die. He kind of explained that, in regards to and I'm going to get this wrong because I'm not perfect on this, but he's like, if you understand in the biblically about the rapture is like that, only God knows when the rapture is going to happen. There's not a date set forth. Even his son Jesus doesn't know. God told him, I will let you know the day when it's going to happen and how it happens and when it happens, like that. It's just not going, there's not going to be a date. No one's going to know the date of the rapture if that's what comes to light. You know what I mean?
Hey, what YouTube channel are you talking about?
His I forget the channel, but if you look at Pastor Jack Hibbs.
Okay, I'm gonna write it down real quick because I want to remember that. Pastor Jack Hibbs.
He's he's a great pastor. He tells it how it is. Sometimes he may get a little political, but he just puts it out there, and he's like, these are things that happens, and just he speaks a good word, my friend, in regards to that, But like I said, at the shop we have these books that were given away. What did you see? What do I miss?
Look at on time. I'm sorry. Time mark 3:42.
Mr. Tom.
Oh, that's hilarious. Mr. Tom. Hey, why are the moderators? I know this is not my channel, Grey, but why are the moderators not putting Mr. Tom on timeout after that? After I went through that rant and they let Mr. Tom get away with this. Oh man.
Thanks, full of hope. Yeah, I sometimes I hate quoting stuff biblically because I'm not the expert on it. You know what I mean? But I try to learn as much as I can. I keep a Bible, several actually, and I try to read through them and highlight things that I find important to me in regards to that. You're always I'm not as well versed as I should be, put it that way. But anyways, so moving past the Nostradamus and stuff like that, and some of the things that we've been talking about. Oh, matter of fact, Rudy, did you hear? I had it here on the screen here. I thought it was interesting. Another container ship loses power near New York City's Verrazano Bridge, man.
Yeah, that's the third one. The third one in like what, a week or 2 weeks?
Yeah. That's it just popped in my head when I was thinking about that, man.
I really don't know what to think about that. I mean, it's one of those things that maybe it happens more often than not. And in the past, people really don't talk about it. It doesn't really get the publicity that it does this time. And now that first one caused such a havoc by running into the bridge, now every time that there's something that goes on with one of those ships near a bridge, now everyone's reporting on it. I don't know. I don't know if that's it, if it's something like that, or maybe something real is going on. They do have, Grey, correct me if I'm wrong on here, they do have like EMP directional weapons that are like small, that you can point it at something and actually cause an EMP. So you never know. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's something as simple that, hey, stuff just happens. It's just that people are looking for this now when before they were not.
Yeah, it's I was when I interviewed the EMP doctor, he talked about that and certain weapons because they use those in labs to test certain EMP products and stuff like that. So it's out there, small yield or small kind of like tactical EMP weapons, versus something more large size. But what I wanted to do, where are we at on time? We're at 43 minutes or 44 minutes roughly. I wanted to talk about ways that you can prepare for the apocalypse. Now, what I mean by apocalypse, and like kind of Rudy said earlier on, the apocalypse can be a small apocalypse. Like by you losing your job and losing all the income going into your home, that can be an apocalyptic situation for some folks. They may see it as their own personal apocalypse. But we're talking about from that standpoint all the way to, yes.
I'm trying to put my hand up, but you won't look at me.
Oh, so
instead of calling apocalypse means the revealing of something.
Okay, good point.
So just either if you're, I know what you're getting at, but the thing is that people are going to start saying that's not what the apocalypse means. Just say a catastrophe or a life-changing event.
Okay,
something like that. Because I can see the chats, not necessarily here, but in the rebound when people rewatch, be like, no, that's not what apocalypse means. But you and I both know what it means. It means that the reveal. Exactly. Yeah, and we're going through the reveal right now. We're going through the apocalypse right now, ladies and gentlemen. I digress.
No, we try to let everybody know that in the beginning of our shows that we started doing together in regards to what the apocalypse actually meant. But I figured I was trying to hone in on like how you said, a SHTF scenario. You know what I mean? Because everybody's SHTF
Yeah.
or like how you said, scenario can be something traumatic to them.
Yeah. Yep.
And so I wanted to talk a little bit about like, you know, ways to, you know, increase your survivability and stuff like that. Things that you can do outside of, you know, some of the videos that we do here on the live stream. You know, I was going to specifically start talking about, let's say, creating your own water supply. You know what I mean? Be it prepping water and how to prep water. You can use refillable jugs, barrels, which I wish I had the opportunity. Do you have an opportunity to build it, or do you have a cistern, Rudy?
Well, I have tanks,
Okay.
which is pretty much the same thing. And here where I live personally, and obviously everyone has to look at their personal situation,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about water where I'm at. In order to survive, that is. Obviously, our standard of living will be brought down a few notches if I could not get water how I normally get it, but we would still be able to survive with the water that we can get. In the wintertime, there's snow. So as long as you have fuel of one kind or another, even if it's just wood, we're going to have water, right? In the non-winter times, we have a rainy season, which, in my opinion, produces enough water to fill all of my tanks, which equal to about 3,500 gallons of water. That, believe it or not, Grey, would get us through about 6 months, 3,500 gallons of water, if we are conservative, if we conserve it, you know, if we use it how we need to use it and not worry about taking a shower every day for half an hour. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So,
agreed.
Yeah. So there's a couple of times during the year where I can fill every one of my tanks up naturally. During the rainy season, which is usually around August, early September, and or around this time when the snow starts to melt. So those two times are about 6 months apart. We can fill up all of our tanks and pretty much live. Now, I believe that the most important thing with water is having a way to make it potable, having a good water filtration system, and not only one, but having several. Having several, that way you know you're always going to be able to clean your water and not get stuck drinking water that tastes terrible, because the only way that you can clean it is by boiling it. Because when you boil it, it's safe to drink, but it's going to taste pretty bad.
Absolutely. I've been thinking about that too here in Florida, being there's, you know, I'm surrounded by seawater on 3 sides. So of course I've been looking into desalination and stuff like that and how they work on like small vessels, like what are they called? Why won't it come to my mind? The things with the sailing ship, whatever there are. They have these desalination kits built into the systems, but they've been getting smaller and smaller. Now the problem is that they're pricey, but I've been looking at different opportunities for that. But Florida is a very rainy state as well, and rain catchment systems and stuff like that. And I agree with you 100% in regards to the water filtration. I might be teaming up with a company called, I think it's called Aquatabs. They go just beyond that, just the tablets to dip. They work with like in a lot of poverty-stricken areas like in Africa about water purification and stuff like that. It's a very cool company. I've been doing research before I say yay to them. But yes, I agree. Having those redundancies in place, because people have asked you and I about the life straw and, you know, and stuff like that. And I don't mind the life straws of the OG life straws. It's just knowing how to back filter and back flush those things to make sure they stay clean and working order is something else that people need to know, because if you don't, you're kind of destroying that product. So boiling water is great. Yes.
You know that Simpure 6-liter bag gravity filtration system that you reviewed, what, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago?
It's been at least a year and a half.
I love that system. That system, I featured it on one of my prepping on the cheap videos. I didn't review it because I had a lot of things. I think I had like 5 or 6 things that I was showing people that you can prep these things and pretty much have what you need during any small crises that maybe it's not going to last, you know, forever. And that system was one of them. I love that system, man. It is something that you can literally use for your entire family if you have to. And all you got to do is just get a few extra filters and you've got enough water for a year. and you can pretty much put any water in there. Now, like you said, you have to back flush that in order to make sure that it works properly and lasts longer. And also, if you live in an area where it's really cold, like here, you want to make sure that it never freezes while it's wet. If it does, you're going to ruin it. But besides those two things, it's such an inexpensive system, and I think it works great. And just for you to have it with a few extra filters put aside, I think it's a great alternative for people that can't afford to get one of the more expensive systems, to have something that will still provide them with safe drinking water. Hey, are you affiliated with Simpure?
That I am.
Then, ladies and gentlemen, go down to the description of Grey's video and click on the Simpure link and go check that system out. He's reviewed it. I haven't reviewed mine just yet. I still got to do a video for it, but I really like that system. It's so good. And they even have another one, Grey, that's got a bag that's a little bit smaller. That's about $15 less than that one is. So
really,
both systems just as good, I think. Yeah,
I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick, because yes, I took that water. I literally went to a retention pond, and if people know what goes inside retention ponds, outside of the material,
I've seen
there,
that. I've seen that video. Yeah,
the chemicals and stuff like that. And it looked just like the water that you would buy at the store, like sparkling clean. It tasted great,
man. It cleans it to 0.1 micron. I was amazed. I was like, 0.1 micron. That's incredible. You know, 1 micron is about the width of one hair. Now, it filters it to about 0.1 micron. No, excuse me. The width of a human hair is like 10 microns. And that filters it to 1/100th of the thickness of a human hair. And I believe that your average bacteria virus is about 1 micron. And these things filter it to 0.1. I think it's a great system. I really do.
It truly
I'm
is.
putting it up right here if you want to. If you want to look at it, let me see.
Oh, here we go. I found it too. Just as you said that, I found it. Yeah, I found it. All right, let me see if I can bring it up for the folks, just so that they're trying to find it. It'll be easy to.
This is such a great deal, man. I really, really like this system.
There we go. And
are you going to share it?
Oh yeah, it's good. Good. Thank you, Rudy. Because I was thinking that I already had it up on there, but yeah.
To see this. I think this is something that everyone ought to have.
I'm trying to see if because that's the system. That was the water that I used, but I was trying to see the water that I was getting out of the retention pond. That was pretty nasty stuff.
Yeah, I've seen this video.
But yeah, it was. I did a lot of fun with that video. The retention pond. It was nasty, all kinds of gunk in there and stuff like that. But I broke the whole system down and just kind of gave you folks. I mean, that's how long ago was that? At least over a year ago, 2 years ago.
Well, when I seen this video, I missed this video when you did it. Then when I seen it, I was like, man, I got a hold of Simpure. I was like, hey, can you send me one of these? I really want to look at it. And take a look at the one that I got up there. That's the one that's like $15 cheaper. And in my opinion, it's just as good. That one right there is just as good as the one that you reviewed. It's like $15 cheaper, and you get 15% off of that right now. So, I mean, this is a great little filtration system. And this one is also good to 0.1 micron. Now, this is something that I would recommend to someone that's prepping on the cheap, because this is going to do the job. I would just say get a few extra filters, because one of these filters is only good for about 1,200, 1,300 gallons. So, yeah, good little system, man. I'm really happy with that.
Thanks, Gail. Swimming pools are great. I'm probably going to butcher the name. Defwadi, 9th state. Did I get that right? I don't know. Hopefully I did. But yeah, swimming pools. I mean, you can take that 5-gallon bucket, dip it in that swimming pool, and let that chlorine burn off in the sun. Good to go, man. That's
not even
one
that,
thing about
man.
Florida.
Put it through a filter, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter what your water source is. It doesn't matter how clean you think it is. Put it through a filter. Even if you're getting water out of a well that's been good for the last 50 years, put that water through a filter. If you're worried about the minerals and the pH that's coming out of there because the RO system is taking it all out of there, go ahead and get an RO system that adds that acidity back to it. No big deal. Put it through a filter. You just never know from day to day if the water source that you're using to eat and drink with is going to be good. Don't take someone's word for it. Check it for yourselves. Put it through a filter. I think everyone in America should have learned a big lesson during the Flint, Michigan era of where so many people lost their lives, so many kids got brain cancer and stuff like that, because they were being told by the state that the water was good to drink. And the entire time it wasn't. And unfortunately, what I remember reading is that the state knew it wasn't the entire time they were telling them that it was. So put your water through a filter. It doesn't have to come from Simpure. Get it from wherever you want, but put it through a filter.
Butterfly 31 says, would it filter out biochemicals in water?
Yeah, it will. It's it filters out forever chemicals. It filters out anything that's 0.1 micron or bigger, pretty much.
Yeah, no, it's a phenomenal system. I'm actually looking at two of them because whenever I do a review, so let me give you guys a little insight to my review process. If I had the finances to do it as well, is whenever I do a review of a product, especially something that affordable, they send me one for a review, right? And I use it for the review. But I also, while they're running that sale or that discount, I use my own discount code, believe it or not, and buy several of them because I think if it's a quality product, I'm going to add that to my preps.
Yeah.
So it's just something that water is just one of those key things that you have to have no matter what in a survival situation. Food is one thing, but water is just super important because without it, you're gone. It's just that simple.
You remember the U3?
The U3,
the gravity water filtration system. I got like an extra 2 packs of filters because I like that system so much, or the filters, that I got an extra couple of packs because I think the price is incredible. $69, and then on top of that, you could take 20% off of those filters. Yeah. You can't beat it, and each filter is 3,000 gallons. So yeah, that's a great deal.
Every time you say that, I forget that I have to do a review on that machine, man.
Oh, you haven't done a review on that? You're gonna like it, man. The only thing I don't like about that, spoiler alert, the only thing that I think they could do better is instead of powering the UV light that's in the spigot with a 18650, right, or with a USB cord, that they maybe could have incorporated a battery within the system itself. That way you don't have a little cord coming out of it. That's the only thing that if I had to pick something that I would pick. Other than that, it does exactly what it says that it's supposed to do.
It's funny you mentioned, I was thinking about that. I mean, for the folks out there that are, inclined to do so, I thought about how to build that on myself. You know what I mean? Because I have all kinds of little nifty little gadgets, battery carriages and wires and soldering and stuff like that. And I was like, how could I create the same voltage and create that running and build it into the system where I could just like tie it into that filtration system without having an 18650, just like some AA's or AAA's. Yep. Or something to that extent, you know what I mean? Because a battery has a specific amount of voltage and volts, or watts, voltage, whatever. And if you can kind of do the math on that, you can kind of build something like that. I mean, that's what we were back in the early days as tinkerers, and we'd figure out stuff. So, and I think
that if they would have used AA's, it would have been much better. But in all reality, you don't have to use the battery pack. You can use either AC because it comes with an AC plug that you plug your USB into, or you can just plug it to your USB on your solar generator and it'll still work. So, I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's still going to work fine, and you got more options.
I'll be honest with you. So my daughter likes the U3. So I have them both. I have the reverse osmosis tabletop and the U3 on the kitchen counter right now. I've been using them for quite some time, right? And the daughter seems to have the preference to use the U3, and the wife seems to use the RO system. The daughter says that she likes the way the U3 tastes versus the reverse osmosis system. So
that makes sense.
So yeah, it's just something I like testing things out as much as I can before I bring them on the show. If I had the allotted time to do so, some of these companies they try to rush you to the game, but I'm like, yeah, it's not going to happen on your time. It's going to happen on my time. It's my channel. So
I've got so much stuff in the background, man, that I need to review. I've been holding on to it for like 6 months. Like, I got this awesome solar panel from Rogue RV. And it's really nice, but they sent it to me like in September. I'm like, I can't review this now. There's no sun out. And I even told them that when they first contacted me, And I said, yeah, I would love to review the solar panel because it's really nice. It's flexible and everything. And I said, but I'm not going to be able to review it till later on next year. That thing's been sitting on my porch here for like the last 7 months. But I'll get around to it pretty soon. I'm actually excited to try it out because it's supposed to be one of those new style, really super efficient solar panels. So excited to do that. And I got a few other things I got to do, but you know, like you said, when the time is right.
It's crazy, you know. It's like I have this new thermal thing to do a review on. I have some night vision binoculars, got a couple of knives and some odds and ends and some flashlights. It's just like life gets you busy, man, and you try to get it as out there as best as you can because, you know, some people love review videos, some people hate review videos, man. But I feel that review videos has to be a part of YouTube because all I ever do is watch review videos before I ever buy anything myself. So
Yeah, me
no matter
too.
what it is.
And the thing is a lot of people complain about the review videos, and my thing is like just don't watch them if you don't like them. But I still do them. Like a review video gets not that many views at all, right? So
Agreed.
if we were playing the views game, we wouldn't do review videos. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But every single time I do a review video, I get 2 different comments, and in some cases, emails. I get one kind of comment that says, "Oh, another review video. Oh, of course you're going to leave a link," right? That's one of the kind of comments that I get. But the other comment that I get, and more likely in the form of an email, is someone saying, "Man, thank you so much for reviewing this because
Mhm.
my husband didn't know that this existed. And now that you reviewed it and he sees how good it is, we're definitely going to get one for our preps." So I do it for the people that are looking for something in that category, that want to know what's the best thing for them. And they can compare my experience to maybe what they would use it for. And then they can decide whether yes or no, I'm going to go with this or not. That's who I do it for. But yeah, I always get 2 kinds. And that's why I continue to do it. Because almost every single review video that I get, I always get an email or a comment saying, "Man, thanks so much for reviewing this."
Yeah, those are my favorite ones. Either they say thank you, they're appreciative. You know, also people that they talk about like their experience with either that product or something similar, where it's a very constructive conversation down in the comments where everybody's interacting with one another
Yeah.
and giving their feedback on either their experiences and stuff like that. I love the interaction, not only from myself and the viewers, but the viewers and the viewers themselves interacting with one another. I think that's great. And one thing I would change, Rudy, is if you love our channels or love anybody's channels out there that you love to watch and you want to support them and a review video comes up, let's say it's a flashlight and you got 20 flashlights and you don't want to watch this flashlight video, mute it, turn it on, let it run, man. Hit that thumbs up button. It
Oh
still
yeah,
helps the
that's
channel out.
there's 2 things that helps the channel the most. Let the video run all the way through, and after the video is done, if you click on like one of the cards so that you can watch another video from that same channel, that is the best combination. But also, letting an ad run up to 30 seconds of that ad. If it's a 5-minute ad, don't let it run 5 minutes. Let it run 30 seconds and skip it. That helps a lot too, because the thing is if YouTube sees you doing that, they're going to recommend that video to a lot more people. Those are the little things you can do to help, to fight against the YouTube algorithm, because it really is a fight. It really is a fight because YouTube either makes or breaks a channel. If they don't want to recommend your thumbnail to anyone, they don't have to, and almost no one will know that you put out a video. That's just how they do it.
Yeah, love is everything. I agree 100%. Between Rudy and my wife, who have both said, look, try not to take it personally and just blow it off, when people say negative things. I finally, because I used to take everything personally. I used to it would irk me because they just didn't understand what I was trying to do or why I was doing what I was doing. And now I just make light out of it and joke with it. You know what I mean? Because they're leaving a comment, so it's helping the channel out. So let them be, say whatever they're going to say and whatnot. And I move past it because I really enjoy you guys out there who watch us and come to like on these live streams, you guys that are so interactive. You guys know that 7:00 you're here, you're going to hang out with Rudy and Grey. We're going to talk about some important things. We're going to go on some rabbit holes and go this way and that way, but you still enjoy the show and you come here every week and hang out with us. And it's truly appreciated.
Man,
Outside of that,
Grey, you're talking like it's almost the end of the live stream.
I don't know. We're over an hour, brother. Last time, remember what happened last time? You got JT upset, man.
Oh yeah, was it 2 hours last time?
2 hours, man.
Oh
2 hours.
my goodness.
Oh man. Thank you, Miss P. We appreciate your, and like I said, folks, it also helps when the live stream ends. If folks, share these things out, they leave comments after the live stream ends. It does help other folks find this information. And maybe they don't watch the entire live stream, but maybe they find one video on our channel, mine or Rudy's or anybody else's out there, that helps them get one step closer to being more prepared for an emergency. That's what it really counts. It's not about me. It's not about this person or that person or Rudy, anybody. It's about helping others. The whole reason why most prepper channels are around is trying to share information and share ideas and things that we do to help get people more prepared for an emergency, be it, like I said, the small stuff like loss of a job to the crazy stuff to, EMPs and all that fun stuff, so we really, truly do appreciate you guys out there. You guys are just a part of our family, just like an extended family to us. So I appreciate that.
Hey, Grey, did you see gold today?
Gold hit a record high. I think it went as high. Oh, holy cow. I'm looking at it right now. 23.37. That broke the high from just a week ago.
Yep. Right now it's 23.40. Oh, no,
Wow.
it hit 23.40. I think I saw it hit as high as like 23.70. And then it came back down. Now it's hovering around 23.40 or so. But you want to take a do you want me to share with you my my gold chart real quick?
Sure, go ahead. Even silver's up, man.
And the reason I asked you if you want me to share this with you is because during my last live stream on Friday, I was going to share this with everyone, and then I forgot.
Wow, look at that! Look at
So,
that graph,
check
man.
this out, man. I'm gonna share something with you. This is just me. Let me see if I can bring this a little. Boom.
It's almost like a 90-degree turn, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is just me messing around, but I just want to show you something, and I'm not sure how many may remember this, but here a few videos back, can you see that good? Okay, good. A few videos back, I think it was on one of my news videos during the weekend. I went ahead and did this. I showed everyone what a bull flag pattern looked like, and I showed you all that this, when you have a straight line going up like this, and you have these, you see these white lines that kind of like looks like a flag on a pole, that's a very bullish sign. And then back then, this right here wasn't here anymore. See this new stuff? That wasn't there. And then I said, now what's going to happen is as soon as we break away from this top of the flag, it's going to go up around this much, because this much right here is about the distance between the first breakout and the top of the flag. See?
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I was like, okay, so it's going to go up at least. And I'm always conservative, and I put it at the bottom of the flag. Right? You can put it up here if you want. Right? Which that one worked out a little bit better, putting it up there. But I'm always conservative and going like, okay, this is where I'm thinking it's going to go. But it actually went up this way. So now what I think is going to happen is the same thing that happened here, where it's going to go up and down. It's going to find a range. It's going to go up and down, because this is building another perfect bull flag. So it's going to go up and down, and then it's going to break out again. And now the big picture, where I think we're going to be, I'm not a financial advisor. Do your own research. This is just what I think, ladies and gentlemen. I have to say this because I'm on the internet. The big picture where I think we're going to be toward the end of the year is, you see this line right here. This is the line that I used to measure the decade-long cup and handle pattern, which is one of the most, if not the most, bullish pattern in technical analysis. And this line starts right around here where the handle broke out. And this is where that line goes. So I'm looking at around 2,900. And that, Grey, is going to be the beginning. Once we hit that 2,900, in my opinion, that will be the beginning of the next true decadal long bull market. So we've got a long way to go, but it's mostly up. There's going to be its volatility. There's going to be down days. Just like here, we had down days. But mostly the pattern or the trend is going to be upward. What did that gentleman say? Who was that? The 49th?
Yes.
Oh, no, that's great. I think that's a great idea. Yeah, if you can sell something like gold and silver, which is something that is of value for something that can bring you more value in the long term, absolutely. That's what it's for. It's money. It's real money. That's what you're supposed to use it for. So that's great. So want to take a quick look at silver? Silver is about the same thing. Check out silver.
I'm glad you said that. Now I know how to pronounce it. The 49th state. I butchered it before.
So take a look at silver, Grey. Does this look a little bit like the gold chart that I just showed you?
Absolutely.
Look at this. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, where's silver? Let's go ahead and do this. Bam. And when you have a flag that's pointing down like this one, it's even more bullish than one that's like straight. Bam, right? So now let's go ahead and do this from here, roughly, to the breakout. Look at that, Grey. Look at that. That's silver. So now silver is going to start working on the flag, and then it's going to, boom, go back up. If I take out the decadal long, silver has a, let me bring it down. I hope I'm not boring anyone with this, but let me bring silver all the way down to a monthly, and I'm going to show you what I mean by a decadal long. Look at this. This is called a cup and handle. It's build a cup, and then here's the handle that it's working on. Now, in order to find out what the breakout may be, you go from the top of the cup all the way to the bottom of the cup, roughly. And then you're going to go over here. Silver, we're looking at about $70. And that, when it hits $70, that's going to be the beginning of the next decades-long bull market. It's going to be huge.
Man, $70. I'm rich. I don't need to play the lotto anymore.
Let's see something real quick. What does the orange man say? It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Huge, folks. Huge.
But yeah, silver in our lifetime, or I would say within the next decade, within the next 8 to 10 years, we're going to be seeing silver at $500-600. And I know people are going to laugh at me. People are going to laugh at me just like they laughed at me when I said, hey, get some Bitcoin at 700. All right. But anyways, that's what I see for silver and gold, at least in the short term. Who knows what's going to happen with our financial system that could escalate those numbers even higher. But just remember that no matter how high the numbers get, it's not the nominal value that really matters. It's what can it buy you. So once silver is $70 an ounce, can it still buy you 6 gallons or 7 gallons of gasoline like it can today? That's how you want to look at it.
All right, brother. We're gonna have to wrap it up. I thought I had myself muted for a second.
Yeah, and look at that, man. Mr. Tom just pretty much said what I just said. Can you go to 414?
Gotcha.
He says, remember, when silver goes up, all electrical and electronics goes up and everything with it in it. Or I think that what Mr. Tom is saying is that when silver and gold go up, pretty much inflate is due to partly because of inflation, and the price of things are going to go up also. So you're not necessarily getting a whole bunch more just because silver goes up. And that's what the job of silver and gold is. Why? Because it's real money. It's to preserve your purchasing power, so that if today you can buy 7 gallons of gasoline at $4 a gallon because silver is $28 an ounce, then even when silver is at $70 an ounce, it's going to guarantee that you can still get 7 gallons of gasoline with that same ounce of silver.
Good night.
Are we done, Grey?
Yeah. I'm just looking at the chat and stuff like that. There's Andrew's having a birthday. It's today, and then Yarn Prepper's husband's having a birthday on Wednesday.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday! That's awesome.
And I was just kind of going through that stuff real quick. Wanted to just bring attention to all the folks out there that are leaving comments and stuff like that. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, thank you
so much. I honestly, Rudy, I feel that when we're on your channel or my channel, we have a pretty great crowd. There's no one really getting out of hand, no craziness. It's a rarity that we see that. Like if you ever watch certain channels and you're just like, wow, it's getting chaotic in there. I really like our communities. You know what I mean? They're very similar nature, pretty much blended together.
Yep, I have to agree, man. I have to agree.
Makes it
trust
so
me,
much
Grey.
more
If I was gonna say, trust me, if this wasn't fun to me, I wouldn't be doing it. If I was always stressing out over, people coming on here and not keeping it, I like to keep this family friendly, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not perfect. I cuss. Ask Grey. Okay. But I do understand this is that we're out here trying to put forth a message that is beneficial not only to the person hearing it, but to the community that person lives in, to the state and the country. Now, what better way to carry this message forward if we allow parents to let their children listen to it, right? And if we were here cussing every other word, then I would probably say that parents wouldn't want to let their children listen to it for the most part. So that's why I like personally to keep this family friendly, because I think that you get more done when you're not cursing every other word, and I think that the next generation that watches these videos and learns from it, the better off that we're going to be as well. And so that's why.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And yes, thank you, mods. You guys do a phenomenal, excellent job.
Always.
All right, guys. Other than that, I think that'll be it. Next week we'll be on Rudy's channel, same time, same place, right?
Right here.
And we'll be doing it all over again. And who knows what happened? So many things happen in a week. It always gives us some opportunity to talk about something crazy. You know what I mean? But thank God everyone made it through the April 8th, 2024 eclipse.
And look at that, Grey. I still have some coffee left.
I got about 4 ounces left myself, man.
Hey, you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. Okay.
Other than that, folks, I'm pretty sure Rudy has a bunch of videos coming out. Hopefully I'll have a couple out coming out myself. They might be review videos or just generalized videos. I don't know what I got going on yet. I try to keep some sort of routine, but it just never works out with life. Other than that, Rudy, anything you want to wrap this up with, man?
That is it, man. And I apologize to everyone for my last live stream. Grey, I made a mistake. Heck, I like to tell stories. I made a mistake last Friday during the live stream. I had not planned to give away a solar generator, but Opus sent me an extra Mighty Mouse so that I can leave it outside during the winter and see how it would act after, it got back to above freezing temperatures.
All right.
So I'm like, well, you know what? I'm just going to give it away. So I decided to give it away. And I had to give it away to someone that lives in Fairbanks, right? Because I can't ship it. And I asked anyone that lives in Fairbanks, put I live in Fairbanks, and I'll pick the first one that I see. Well, it must have been like 3 or 4 that passed before I even saw them. So my wife was like, there's like 3 or 4 that went by before you picked the winner. I'm like, well, I honestly did not see them. And the first one that I saw is the one that I picked. So anyways, having said that, I did deliver that to the winner. But ladies and gentlemen, stand by as far as solar generators. I think I have a few that I'm going to be reviewing this season. And Opus is actually going to have another really good sale coming by. And I'm going to be giving away some solar generators, solar panels, etc. during that time period. So stand by, and hopefully one of you that really needs one will win one. And I'll leave it off with this since we're talking about solar generators. If you really need a solar generator, especially because it's for a medical reason and you can't afford one, go to Opus. You can go to any one of my videos, click on the Opus links, and there's a program called Opus Help. And Opus Help is a program that they developed where they take 5% of all of the money that they make from sales and they give it back to the community members that need a solar generator and can't afford one. So go check that out. There's
That's
been a
awesome.
whole bunch of people from the AP community that have gotten a solar generator because they asked. Right. So go check it out and see if you can get on that list. And good luck to you if you do need one and you get one that way. Other than that, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining in. Truly do appreciate every one of you. Grey, take it away.
No, that's very awesome, man. And I got, since you were saying that, made me think about Blue Yeti sent me an email yesterday that they're shipping out the one that we did the giveaway on your channel last week. And I gave away, I'm waiting for 2 other people for the gift cards to claim them. If they don't, I guess maybe we'll try to do them again next week or something like that, brother.
Yeah, we can
Other
do
than that, folks, yeah, I mean, they were there. I know that people were there. Hopefully, if not, we'll do it. We'll just do it from the live stream pool versus videos and whatnot. Other than that, folks, thank you all for being here. We truly appreciate your time, for hanging out with us. And remember, folks, you are not alone. This is GreyMan and Rudy, Alaska Prepper. We're
Bye-bye.
out. We'll see you. Catch you on the rebound. God bless.
God bless.